6 years ago, Nintendo did the year of Luigi. And while that doesn't mean a lot for this show, last year, you'd be hard pressed to find an argument that it wasn't the year of the Spider. Spider-Man was pretty much everywhere, from the Homecoming to the most heart-wrenching scene in Infinite War, to Venom, to the Spider-Man game, and then finally wrapping out the end of the year with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is probably one of my favorite movies, animated movies, period, let alone a superhero movie where it just knocked it out of the park. So, with the Year of the Spider being so everywhere, I did want to talk about Spider-Man 2018. Now, this is the one that everyone loved in 2018. There were a couple of other games that this title could have gone for, I'm going to be honest, but those games, first off, I feel like have better stories elsewhere, and second, this one has a higher percentage of players platinuming it and going through everything to go ahead and get that platinum. So that's why this game gets it. So playing through Spider-Man is a pretty breezy time. You do have to quote unquote 100% the game, but that's more or less just doing everything once. And then so it's not even like complete completionist type things. And the hardest and grindiest thing you're gonna have to do is getting all the suits. But with each suit being unique in its stylings, you're not gonna find a big argument. Playing through the game, you'll find that it's free and great to just move around and do things in. Not only that, but it feels like very much the type of game I'd want to play. Not only the game that I want to play, but very much the kind of movie I'd want to see if this Spider-Man was given the chance to have his own feature-length film. The game is so popular already that within Marvel fans that Spider-Cop, one of the personas that the Spider-Man donned as a joke, has actually already been thrown in to the Marvel comics, and this version of Spider-Man will be getting his own comics, I believe later this year, if it's not already out. So, with everything being said, I started playing this game for the platinum. I really wanted to kind of switch something up. I wanted to do a different type thing. At this point, I had platinumed 3 other first-person shooters, and I just wanted something a little bit different to kind of break it up. Little did I know that would kind of send me down a path of platinuming one of the best games of last year and really just having a great time doing it. So there aren't a lot of tips I can actually give you for this game, because a lot of it is just being natural and fluid, but I will talk about the few things that I can. Most of the trophies are going to come down to just doing everything once and then doing everything, period. You get ones for getting your first backpack token, completing a challenge token up to the 2 stars. You get one for clearing out an outpost. You get one for clearing out all the outposts. You get one for 100%ing a single district. You get one for 100%ing all the districts. This game is pretty fast and loose with all of its trophies, and that's one of the reasons that, first off, you are seeing this large completion rate, which is always really good. It lets people just feel the game, which is something that I love. I love that people are just getting into the game and just becoming the Spider. It's a great time. it is a little reminiscent of the Batman Arkham games in terms of fighting style and all of that. But when you have a game that's as derivative as one of the other greatest superhero games, I'm not gonna hold that against it. Mostly because it just doesn't make sense to hold it against it. Oh, that great thing that you loved in the other series? Yeah, this game also does it. Well, fuck shit then. Let's go. So, there are a couple of specialty trophies in the game. You get one for fast traveling 5 times. You get one for walking around the town and interacting with citizens of your fair city, which was something that I really enjoyed. Giving every character the possible opportunity to have a moment, which was really awesome. I love how they use MJ and Miles Morales. The only thing I wish is they were given not more stuff to do, because while people didn't really enjoy the stealth mechanics that they were given, mostly because of how limited they were in comparison to how fluid Spidey is, I did really enjoy the characters, and hanging out with them was always a blast regardless. Everyone's kind of looking forward to the sequel of this game, which I'm not going to spoil. There's an entire story time on my channel if you do want to see it there. But with a sequel highly anticipated and highly, what's the word I want to use? Predictable with how well this game sold. Not predictable. Highly requested. Highly anticipated, highly requested. The only hope I have is that we're going to have more MJ with more of her just hanging out and having a good time. Alright, so they're all pretty much, for the most part, that's the general gist of all of the trophies in the game, is play the game, have a good time, complete everything, and kind of just work through it. On the plus side, one of the things I was most worried about was, do you have to be perfect at the game? Do you have to get 3 stars for everything? Do you have to be damn near ungodly at the game? And the answer is no. Simply put, you do have to be pretty good. I'd recommend going for 2 stars for the most part of it, and then when need be, and when the challenges aren't too ridiculous, going for that 3rd rank, just to take it a little bit easier. But you are not gonna have to get 3 stars for every single thing, unless you are a completionist. Then by means, that's just something you gotta do. One of the most touching trophies in the game, and a beautiful homage to Spider-Man period, is the inclusion of the With Great Power trophy. I would recommend you saving this for the last trophy in the game for a couple reasons. One, it's a beautiful screenshot. A somber screenshot. And with the end of the game, it hits all the right notes of how you'd almost want that kind of thing to go through, but it also is never something really talked about within the premise of the game. It's kind of just something that, thanks to a trophy list, and a trophy list that you have to kind of look up, because again, it's a hidden trophy because they don't want to spoil the surprise. It is something that you kind of have to know you have to do, which if you don't, it's going to be a little bit frustrating, but if you do, it's going to be a beautiful way to end the game. What you need to do is that you have to go visit a grave sight and interact with a specific stone. If you're a big fan of Spider-Man, you know exactly who I'm talking about at this point, and if you're not, minor spoilers for the Spider-Man origin story that's been told 20 million times to death at this point, is the gravestone of Ben Parker, Peter's lovable uncle who gives him the entire "with great power comes great responsibility" spiel. And with that being one of my last trophies, it was quite beautiful. I did think it was going to be my last trophy. I was aiming it to be my last trophy. However, I did mess up with one of the districts, not completing all of the Sable outposts, Sable crimes in them. So unfortunately, it was not my last trophy. And that was highly disappointing, if I'm honest. There's the other thing of you don't, which has probably worked for a lot of people in their favor, is that you don't actually have to go ahead and complete the All-No campaign on the hardest difficulty. That was patched through in free DLC, but for the Platinum Trophy, it's not something you have to do. So if you want to, you can go ahead and play this game on the easiest difficulty and still get yourself a shiny Platinum, which is something that I saw people were complaining about. But if you're like me, just go ahead and play it on normal difficulty, and you should have a nice time. The other thing you're going to have to do is completely upgrade your skill trees and purchasing all the skills. That's not nearly as hard as it normally is in most games. It just is going to require you a little bit of grinding outside of the what the game is already asking you to do for everything else. And if you choose the right skills at the right times, you can pretty much become untouchable. At the end of the game, I had an ability that let me do 2 specials for every one special that I use, as long as there's a similar enemy type around. And I would also be able to use an ability that pretty much just massively respawned my thing, which massively let me just go ahead and respawn all of the focus as quickly as possible. So by the end of it, I'm pretty much just doing slow motion ninja moves the entire time, and it was fantastic. And it's something that I absolutely loved, that you can just do, that you have all of this ability to do. So that was another thing I really appreciated. I did also appreciate how through doing all of the side missions, you get to experience different characters in Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery, some that you really don't get to see anywhere else in the game story, which personally I always approve of. It's one of the things where it's like, well, this character wasn't a big enough deal to do a whole campaign story about, and let me tell you, a lot of the campaign story always comes down to tutorials of how you could do something a little bit better. I did really appreciate that it saved a couple of nuggets in side missions. The only thing I would complain about on this end is that the Tombstone campaign mission that you start out with Mary Jane is not completed through the campaign. It's something that you actually have to go through and do it on the story mode in the side missions, but it's still a really good time regardless. On top of all of this bundle of joy of me absolutely loving Spider-Man because he was my childhood guy, whereas Batman now is my childhood guy, you have J. Jonah Jameson pretty much commenting on everything you do in the game, and it's fun to see that sometimes he's actually right and he's not that far off, and other times he is horribly wrong. I also did like the modern take on him. I thought it was a smart move to kind of go ahead and update his resume from news reporter to podcaster and podcaster slash journalist type. I also really appreciate that. And then just all the smaller decisions like that I really just couldn't get enough of. But I'm pretty sure that's everything I had to talk about. Beating the campaign is going to get you a good chunk of the trophies. Just exploring everything is going to give you another good chunk of the trophies. And then being a completionist will get you the final rest of them. There are a couple of trophies that are combat initiated. I'm looking at the there are the trophies that you get for going ahead and doing certain combat trophies, which can be easily grinded out as pretty easily. It's not something that you actually have to worry about. Just get into a good grind spot, like the Hug It Out trophy, which you get for triggering two people to kind of get stuck together. It is something that I did in the train station. Pretty much once I realized that I could do it with these two guys, I pretty much just kept doing it until the trophy popped. Fortunately, it doesn't require too much to pop, and it's a really quick and easy thing to do once you know what you have to do. You also get trophies for doing 75 stealth takedowns, which that is something that you can go ahead and grind out, but it's not something that's going to take too much of your time now that you know that you have to do it. Playing through the game, but playing through everything that the game has to offer, you'll find that it's just a really fun time if you haven't. And there's a reason why it got all the love it did last year. And there's a reason why it's getting love from me now, a whole year later. But that's pretty much all I have to say about the game itself. These guys are awful, and I wish they weren't in the game as much. But that's pretty much all I have. So thank you guys for watching. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the Platinum Trophy, give you guys a good look at what that looks like, and then we'll call this a video. Yeah, because that's something that I do. So this is what the trophy looks like. It's not my favorite design as it goes for Platinum Trophies. I did wish they would have done something a little bit extra, just to kind of be like, oh hey, special. But it's not a bad trophy all in all. A negative Platinum Trophy on a spiderweb, it's pretty cool. I also do want to give a huge thank you to my friend Elle and her little brother, because I did already record this video. It was a great time, and then I accidentally deleted the video and sold the game before I realized I deleted the video. So if it wasn't for them, the video would not be getting out to you guys today. So give some massive love to Elle. She's a great friend of mine. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. I don't have anything else to talk about. It was a perfect game to kind of switch up my first-person shooting streak at that point, which I did not mean to do, and it is one that I am undoubtedly proud of in the end. Now, I'm going to give it a ranking, and I'm going to explain why that ranking happened, mostly because this one is not going to get my highest rating. I brag about it. It is only going to get a rating of be proud of it. And the reason why that is because when I'm giving ratings out to the games, I'm not giving them to the games themselves. I'm giving them to the Platinum Trophy. So what does it mean for this Platinum Trophy? There's with the fact that 9.6 of normal people have the Platinum Trophy, and it's sitting about 15% over amongst trophy hunters, it's not a game that it's not a platinum trophy that's super rare, and it's not a platinum trophy that people absolutely love, even though it is such a great time. And that is, in this case, the only thing holding this trophy back from becoming a brag about it. But I really did love this game. I hope you guys played it, or at least watched the playthrough of it. Not even mine. There are plenty of playthroughs of this game out. Let me know what you guys thought about it in the comment section down below. And I would thank you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.